Today, drama means found family, drama means sanctuary, and drama means you specifically have a target on your back with tragedy's name on it. Hi, welcome to DramaMeans. Today we're talking about the 2026 Japanese-Korean collaboration series, Soulmate.
And first a summary. After nearly dying in a fire, a young man navigates his complicated emotions towards the man that saved him.
So, let me start off by, I binged this in one night. And then I was so terribly depressed.
Why do you watch sad things? I still don't understand.
Oh, gosh, I don't even... Well, I've been wanting to watch this, right?
And let's also point out, I started watching it with you, took a break, and I turned around and you were done with the show. It's like, what happened? I looked up and you were done with the show.
Yeah.
So I got about halfway through this one before you left me in the dust.
Well, I didn't want to wait, and I was just watching it, and the thing is, it's like all 8 episodes were out, you know, like Netflix had just pushed it out. It wasn't like they air, a couple episodes a week or something like that, like other shows.
Yeah, it was a very binge-worthy, not worthy is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, easily bingeable.
Yeah, and so I did watch this in one night. We started it, and then you had some other stuff to do, and then by the time you came back, I had finished, and I was so terribly depressed after this, like, I didn't finish it till, like, early morning, right? Like, I don't know, 3, 4 a.m. or something like that. And I couldn't sleep because I was so sad. And then also, I was sad the next day. And it's not like... I said, like, I saw some comments online, and some people are like, oh, it's actually not that sad, like, I, think it's actually kind of happy, right?
I didn't get much of that.
It's, like, I think I understand where they're coming from, where, like, you're happy because you found someone that is your soulmate, and that you can completely rely on if you need to. Right? But it's sad because of all the circumstances.
Right.
And I just felt like it was such a shame because, yes, you've met this soulmate of yours that you can, like, any time anything happens, the first person you want to tell is that person. And you are constantly thinking about them, and they're the only ones that you really feel like that you can reach out to, right? Like, honestly, that's kind of hard to come by.
Of course.
Right?
Well, that sort of deep connection with someone that they pick it up pretty quick, too. Like, they have their kind of first, don't really talk to each other that much, but as soon as they get a chance to connect, they connect.
Yeah.
Like, pretty quickly, and it becomes, like, very fast, Relationship is kind of the weird word to use here.
Yeah.
Because their relationship is quite unique throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. The thing is, for me, at least, I feel like it's a shame because so much time has passed and they don't actually spend that much time together.
Right.
And like, for someone to be your soulmate, like, and you having such deep emotions for, like, you spend it like a decade of your life, right? Kind of like barely doing anything with each other. You're just there to, like, live and survive, and, like, and not unlike Exit 8, you're going through the motions of your daily life, and you're, like, kind of not, like, giving time for each other, right?
Yeah.
So then 10 years goes by, and the outcome is you don't have that much time to be together anymore.
Right.
And now you're, like, hustling. Now you're, like, frantic of, like, oh, we need to do something. We need to go see the world together, as our last chance to be together. And I find that just so morbid.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I get it. There are a lot of circumstances in this. I think we'll talk about it, like how much goes wrong for this couple and how much I don't know, just how many things they stack against them in this. So you could argue, hey, they're up against it, but like they still find their little bits and moments to be happy with each other. My counter argument is, if you could have gone to him if the circumstances were dire enough, why didn't you? Like, why did it take all the way to the end till someone was dying that you can actually throw away all those circumstances and just run to him and be with him? Like, if your love was that important earlier, it feels like you could have also figured out a way. You both could have.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like they both didn't really work together to figure out how to actually be together.
Yeah. So the tone of this is kind of slow. It's very like indie movie style. And honestly, I thought this was a movie. I didn't realize that when it was released that it's a TV show with 8 episodes. Like, I expected it to be like maybe a 2-hour movie.
I mean, it probably would have been better as a movie.
I agree.
I'm just like, I know that there's this push, like back in the day it was all about films. And then TV kind of became cool, right? And so a lot of storytellers are like, oh, I get to tell a longer story because I have 8 episodes rather than a 2-hour movie. So now what would have been an indie film is now a limited series. And I sometimes don't think that's the right move. And I feel like part of my issue with this is that it's a show. That too many things are happening. They're focusing on too many different characters. If this was a movie, this would be a 2-hander.
Yeah.
And it would be clean. And you could do all the things you still wanted to do with these characters. It would have just gotten rid of all the stuff. I was like, why are we doing that? Why are we talking about that?
Yeah. And, so, it's just, I don't know. It was pretty slow at the beginning especially, but it was like really methodical and it took its time. But it also, like, gave a lot of attention to other things that I'm like, yeah, I understand where they're coming from, but honestly, their separation felt a little long, too, like, in terms of, like, when he went to the military and they...
Well, that's where they lose me a little bit. Like, the circumstances of him being in the military, you could almost cut past everything that happened to him in the military because the only effect on the story is their part.
Yeah.
And so everything else is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so whoop-de-doo, this happened to you when you're in the middle. Like, it doesn't really affect the story going forward or from where we came, other than I have to go do this thing and I can't be around.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, it does bring, like, a longing for each other to be able to spend time with each other. Like, it shows Johan, you know, kind of being bullied, as he always gets bullied, since we see the flashback of his, like, life, right? It's kind of the same. Like, it's like, almost like this vicious cycle of, like, people around him bullying him. And then he's just, like, accepting it, right?
Yeah.
And then, and he keeps thinking about Ryu, but, like, I felt like it was a little, like, more than needed, or because it was so drawn out, that it felt like it could have been more of a montage.
And that's where I go back to, if this was a movie, it would have been a montage. Yeah. Or it would have been, you would stay with just Ryu as he's waiting, and he's filling his days with something else that isn't his partner, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you fill your days when someone that you want to be by your side isn't there? Is it writing letters? Is it art? Is it, you know, distracting yourself in work? Like, what is it? And then that moment where they come back, all of that gets thrown to the side, right? You drop all of those things, those habits that you accumulated, because now the person's back.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about the pacing at the beginning. You know what this really reminded me of? The pacing and the tone, almost the non-linear version of it at the beginning. This reminded me a lot of The Limey. I don't know if you remember watching that way back in school.
We did watch The Limey, but I kind of don't remember.
The Limey starts with him on a plane, and you think he's coming and arriving at a place. But the way the movie's shot is you realize in that first scene he's already done the whole movie and he's leaving in that first scene. Mm-hmm. And because it's kind of shown to us out of order, and a lot of imagistic kind of mood kind of things. And it's not as like hand-holdy as some flashbacks are these days, where you're like, here's the flashback to explain the context to you. Like it's, it's just giving us these mood moments. And I think the beginning of that was kind of like that, which I really did enjoy. But I do agree with you. Like it's when they start kind of peeling away from each other, I start going, yeah, let's get through this. Let's get through this part.
This is also why I kind of don't. I think that it should have been a movie and not a series, because it kind of hinders the story in terms of like the part where Johan is back in Korea. He's just got out of the military, and you can argue that it's like a cultural thing, but it's also like a cultural like stereotype of K-dramas, right? Where you have this like sleazy, I don't know, like a head of the whatever, the boxing community or whatever his position is, and like rigging fights, right?
Right.
And then he gets caught, and then he like comes and takes his revenge, and then there's these crappy like thug guys that are just like messing around and like trashing the place, right? And that gets Johan in trouble. And then after that, they're like, people are stalking him at his home, and everyone on the street recognizes him, and like, there's news articles all about him. And it's like, first of all, that's really unrealistic to me, because it's not like Johan is some superstar boxer.
Yeah.
Like, his career was already dead when he was doing these rigged fights. He was not like some like public figure that everyone recognizes. Most people on the street wouldn't know him at all.
No.
Right?
No, he's not like the most famous athlete, international superstar. Like, he's not Mike Tyson. Like, he's not like, like the Korean soccer player that goes to, the Premier League, and you're like, oh, everyone in Korea knows that guy. Like, he's their Premier League player, like that guy,
Yeah. So, like, I don't think people would care, honestly, if, like, they read the article, glanced at him, and then all of a sudden sees him on the street. I don't really think that people would even recognize him. To the point where, like, now people are, like, spray painting his door and calling him gay, which is, like, also weird, because in the article it never specified that he was, like, gay, right? And the only thing was, during the fight, the thugs would be like, oh, why are you protecting this guy? Like, are you gay or something? And it's like, that's out of nowhere, because they didn't do anything for anyone to, like, presume that he was gay anyway.
Right.
But it, like, they added that in there for, like, no reason. Then they added, like, some random person sprayed that he's gay on his door, which is also, like, where did this rando person get that from? Right? And it's because the whole article was about how a professional boxer punched a civilian, and that could have killed him because he's a pro boxer.
Right.
Right? There was nothing about, like, oh, he's gay. So it was just, like, randomly, like, the movie trying to, like, stuff the idea of him being gay in the audience's faces.
Which, I will say, this whole section, this whole thing from top to bottom, doesn't need to be in the series, like, at all. Like, it feels like, yes, sure, have the fight rigging at the beginning, but he kind of escapes that.
Yeah.
And I thought at the time anyways, that, like, him escaping it felt a little easy.
Oh,
like, it felt like he didn't really have any consequences for, like, going against that dude and running off.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do it that way, just let it be. Because coming back to it, like, post-military, and, like, him trying to get his life back on track, it felt like such a U-turn for the whole series of, like, an unnecessary, like, wait, we're dealing with this again?
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like so much looking back.
Yeah. But also, well, they needed some kind of altercation where, like, he's desperate to leave Korea. And so when Ryu drops everything to go to him in Korea and then, like, basically saves him, right? And is, like, invites him to move to Japan and live with him. Like, they needed something to happen.
Sure, but come up with something then. That's your job as a writer.
Yeah. I don't think it works because it is so cliche. It's like, it's super like, they're like, oh, you know, this movie feels very Japanese. Let's add some like Korean, like kdrama style into it.
It feels very big for the rest of the tone.
Yeah.
Like it feels very soap opera, and the rest of it felt sort of indie soap.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to mash these tones together, and this just felt very out of place. There's a million ways you could make him desperate coming out of the military. Like, we see it on the Korean entertainment side all the time. They go to the military for 2 years, and they come back, and the entertainment industry has passed them by.
Yeah.
And now you're like, well, I was a superstar when I went in, and now I'm a nobody. What do I do with my life? Like, it didn't have to be so melodramatic to get to the place they needed to get with it.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand why it's there. I question the whole plot line, really, of just, did we need that? I don't think so. I think there would have been a better tonal way to do it, and a better story way.
Yeah, a better, like, balance.
Yeah, because I do think, like, especially the tone they set at the beginning, I really enjoy. I think the acting is phenomenal. Like, I think both of the guys are really good together. I'm with you. I get everything you're feeding me. Like, just keep giving me this flavor. Like, you're in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And now you're pulling me out of it to this thing. It's like what we talk about romance shows all of a sudden doing action sequences, but they do them really badly. So then you're like, ugh. You know?
Yeah. So that part, I was just like, it didn't feel right for the show. But also, we get like the typical Korean drama of, you know, all these like elements, right? We also, on the other side get like the Japanese like cliche elements as well, where like literally one person encounters all of the tragedies.
Right.
Right? And it's just like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like, that, okay, so he has a best friend that he felt like he wronged, right? Because he kind of ran away from the confession, and then him having to deal with the consequences of his friend's
attempt to take his own life, basically, right when he jumps.
Yeah. So we have that, right? And so that's what led him to Berlin in the first place. Then he comes back, and then he's taking Johan back, like, you know, from Korea. So that's kind of like a big tragedy, right? And then, of course, both characters have their own stuff. And then his best friend gets killed, and then they don't have to, but they offer to take Sumiko in, and then they take care of the baby. And then on top of that, all this stuff happening, at the end, Johan has like ALS. Right. Or something other, like something similar to ALS, right? So it's like, do we need all of that? That is like, I know it's like a decade's time where bad things can happen, but it's also like, wow, that's a lot to happen to one person.
I will say, if this was a movie, they would have never done the Sumiko thing. Like, to me, this should have been a movie about two people. And then everything else is circumstance that's pulling these two people and making their life complicated. And the fact that we're digging into, like, Sumiko and the friend and their courtship, and then they get together, and then the guy dies. Mm-hmm. And they have a kid, and now that has to be Yuru's problem, right? Like, so now he's been drawn into it. I get it. But, like, the show's not about her.
Yeah.
Right? But that you have to make room for these characters because you have 8 episodes to fill. You've got a lot more drama to tell.
Yeah.
So in a movie, I don't know if you even do that storyline with her.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. Like, I understand, like, adding Sumiko and, like, as like, trying to save a friend and being generous and all that stuff. And it's like that found family, which I normally love found family, like, tropes or themes or whatever you want to call it. But this show is called Soulmate, right? And Ryu and Johan are soulmates, right? It's not Ryu and Sumiko and Johan are soulmates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So therefore, putting so much emphasis on that portion, like, it's just, it takes away from their relationship. Also, because they spend so much time with Sumiko and the baby, and they're individually, like, spending time with the baby, but they're never really spending time together.
Yeah.
You know, they, like, Ryu is always working, and Sumiko's always working, and then, Johan is, like, most of the time, the baby gets, like, Johan goes pick up the baby all the time, right? And the thing is, all this, yes, they're living a life of, like, this family, but honestly, none of them spend any time with each other.
Which, I mean, I think is a common thing in life. Like, I think, you know, you look up and a decade has passed and you go, whoa, wait a minute. Like, how did that happen? Like, I wanted to do all these things. I wanted to be somebody. And you're just like, oh, it's 10 years have passed. So, like, I get it. I think my issue is what you said of, like, it just feels like if they would have done any one of these things, it would have been a thing, except for now they're doing all of these things.
Yeah.
It's the friend, it's the baby and the woman moving in with you, it's the boxing, it's the ALS. It's like, it's so many things that it starts to go like, it's not funny, but it's just like,
It's too coincidental.
it just feels like it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah. So it's just like, I understand you want to feel for the characters, but when you just add too much, it's almost like unbelievable now.
So I'm going to ask you a question because I go back and forth on this thing, and I was, before we started recording, I was trying to think of a movie or a show that did this that I really, really enjoyed. But, like, normally I don't really like shows that use this massive time frame. Like, a show that takes place over 10 years. Like, that keeps cutting forward a year, cutting forward 2 years, and it shows us in all these different situations. I'm trying to think of something that, like, does that I was like, oh man, that was really good. Because I feel like normally stories are better condensed in a condensed time frame, and you can still have these emotions. And yes, you lose something with the kind of longevity of the relationship and their bond. But I don't know. I want to say, like, it's not a automatic no for me, but I struggle to think of a show or a movie where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really glad that took place over 15 years.
There has been shows and movies that I do like that big time span because it shows, like, growth. It shows their emotional build and their relationship build. It shows how dedicated they are to each other. So I do like those. Like, I believe When Harry Met Sally is one of those where, like, it spans over years.
Yeah, it spans over some time. I can't remember how much.
I can't think of at the top of my head. Like, there's been some Chinese dramas that go from, like, high school to, like, you know, when they're working. And I do like some of those dramas because it does show, like, a character arc also. For this one, I don't mind that it spans so long. I just wish that they had spent more time really developing the relationship between the two to really justify soulmate, right? And I know, like, some people are like, well, when you know it's your soulmate, like, you can know within, like, a week or within the first time you hang out with them, whatever it is. But it's just, like, to be so deeply emotionally attached to each other, I feel like as an audience, we're not really getting the time it needed to connect.
Right.
For the two characters. And then spending so much time on, like, secondary characters and, you know.
I mean, I think that's the tragedy of the story, ultimately. Like, that's the decision the filmmakers made to deny us those moments because we get to see glimpses and we get to see, like, near misses, but we don't ever get to see them, like, happy together. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, they have their happy moments, but through circumstance, they're forced to be apart, and ultimately, they do come together at the end to, like, reassure the audience, like, no, we are soulmates, and, like, we recognize that, even though life hasn't been perfect. this is where I struggle with this one a little bit, because I do think competency to me isn't a question here. Like, I feel like the filmmakers knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I enjoy all of it.
Yeah. So, I can't even say I, like, enjoyed it. Like, I liked it enough to finish it and binge it in one night, right? And I was emotionally invested, and I, obviously, because I became so depressed after watching it, I just also wanted more from it. And here's, like, an issue with so, like, we get introduced to Arata, and Arata confesses his feelings for Ryu, and then Ryu doesn't ever really answer him, and then kind of lets, like, life handle it for him in terms of, like, his best friend spreading the word, and then Arata, like, taking it hard, and then ultimately tries to attempt suicide. Like, and then, you know, Ryu being just, like, so, feeling so guilty, and, like, but then just kind of running from his problems, and then he, like, goes to Berlin, right? And then at one point, he almost, like, gives up, because he didn't even try to run from the fire. He just kind of let the fire, like, he was ready for the fire to engulf him, right? But, like, I think in the movie, they want to say, like, this whole thing is about, like, Ryu and Johan, like, not giving up, and not letting life, you know, take them down, kind of thing, and they're still fighting, right? But I feel like they're missing the fact that there should have been a lesson for Ryu to have learned from his mistake of not really confronting, not necessarily even his emotions. Like, I don't know if he ever really had emotions for Arata, like, romantic.
No, I don't think he did.
I didn't think he did either. But, like, he felt bad for not acknowledging Arata's, like, feelings, answering him, or, like, facing it head on, kind of, you know? And then instead he ran, and then he, like, ran from his best friend's emotions, right? So, like, he, in his confession, that's what he was confessing over. So then, fast forward to when Johan is leaving Ryu, and Johan's like, did you take me in because you pitied me? And then Ryu's like, no, that's not why I took you in. And he's like, then why? And that's Johan's way of saying, do you have the same feelings for me like I have for you? Right? Like, what was your purpose of taking me in? Why do we live together? Why do we spend our lives together? I need to know. And yet again, Ryu doesn't answer. And he doesn't do anything. He lets Johan walk out of his life.
Right.
Right? And he's sad about it. And he's taken aback by, like, Johan explaining that he's found someone else. And he says, I found someone else that I want to protect and be in my life, right? And Ryu is like almost like a little shocked, but, like, devastated by this statement, right? But he never, like, learned anything and did anything different from how he acted with Arata.
Yeah.
So I felt like there wasn't any kind of, like, character growth from him.
Well, that goes back to movies like this, and the good ones, the great ones, the bad ones. And I think this one falls in the middle. Like, I don't think it's a bad one. I don't think it's a great one. The great ones you leave with a feeling of, I understand what to do with that thematic and those emotions and the lessons. Like, I kind of know, like, what the movie is telling me. Like that movie is telling me, seize the day, or don't let people slip through your fingers, or it's more important to be honest, even if it's going to hurt someone's feelings, than say nothing. Like, with Arata, that's what I thought was kind of the lesson that he should have learned, is I took it as he was confessed to, he's shocked he's getting this confession, but he also can't return the affection. And so now he doesn't know how to shut it down. So instead of shutting it down, he says nothing, which is almost more hurtful from the other person's perspective. Like, hey, I just said I love you. If you say, hey, I don't have the same feelings, I'm so sorry, that's an answer. And now I can process it. But when you say nothing, then you have to leave it to my imagination to, is he embarrassed? Does he think less of me now that I've kind of come out? Is our friendship going to change now? Like all of these things that you have to imagine.
And there's no closure.
And there's no closure for that person, right? So, but at the end of this movie, I still don't quite, I still don't know quite how, what do you want me to do with this? Like, I don't think the theme is really soulmates. If you just try, you can be together. It's like, well, 10 years and it took like a death prognosis. That's
my main thing is like, so Johan leaves, right? And years go by. And now, Sumiko and Ryu and Sumiko's daughter, they all move in with Ryu's parents.
Yeah.
And then they're planning a wedding so that Sumiko would so that the daughter would have a dad, right? And he's fully okay with years of not seeking out Johan, not asking him how he's doing, and he's just living his life as he always would, and it's just almost the same as like, oh, I've run away from Johan.
Yep.
Right? And so he was totally fine with it. If Johan's sister didn't contact Sumiko, and if Sumiko never told Ryu that Johan was ill, he would have lived his whole life not looking for Johan, ever.
Right. Which is super passive by a character that I want to learn a lesson, that I want him to take what has happened to him and do something.
Yeah, he's so retroactive.
Yeah.
Where, like, nothing he does is because he wants to. It's like he's being pulled all the time. You know what I mean? He doesn't, like, I don't know. Yes, he was planning on going to see Johan, like, but then he got the call and he rushed to go find Johan. It was like after severe circumstances, always.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel like that character, like, it just never was developed that well.
Well, and that's what I kind of mean. Like, I'm struggling to find that thing of, hey, filmmaker, what do you want me to do with this information? What would you like me to do as an audience member? What am I supposed to take away from this? And I would love to have that conversation, because I think every answer to that, I would say, yeah, but then why was it done this way? If you wanted me to take away this, then why did it take, that huge break and someone else saying, hey, he's really sick, you should go see him, in order to, like, come back together? Like, why doesn't he learn his lesson quicker?
Yeah.
And I get it. Characters can go through these things, and I'm not saying I want them to turn on a dime and just go, I've learned my lesson. From now on, I'll be just and upright, and I'll know exactly what to do. Like, that's not what I'm asking for.
Yeah. But also, like, introducing that, it's a very heavy and deep moment, when Arata confesses and that experience of Ryu, right? So I want it to come back, and I want it to correlate with his experience with Johan, and it never does.
Yeah.
And it's just like, almost like, did we really need to introduce that then? Because it was only a tool for us, or for them, to get Ryu to Berlin.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, I think, I don't know, there's a lot well done here. And I think, too, like, we get a hard time from people saying that we hate on everything, and did you guys even like this sort of thing? So I think the negativity, again, is like, I always feel harder on something when I'm like, oh, you're close to being really great.
Yeah.
Like, it's so close to being, I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but like, it really could have been.
It could have been better. It's just like, we wanted it to be better, because I've been looking forward to it for a while since they first announced that Taecyeon was going to be in a BL, right? And they definitely marketed this as a full BL.
And he's acting his ass off.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Like,
I was really impressed because I've seen Taecyeon in like other dramas, and like in this, it's like I know why he took this role. Like he was amazing in it. Like he was very good and very natural.
And it gave him so much to play with. Like there's a lot of acting to be done here, which I think any actor from whatever character you're talking about, like this is the type of movie you want to do, because I don't know if it's taking a chance really, but like it's these indie projects that allow you to really explore a character. For an actor, that's like the ultimate, and be able to take it and like nail their performance. Like hats off. Like this isn't a boy band guy who's like pretending to be an actor. Like this is an actor.
Yeah. I expected a breakdown scene, and don't get me wrong, Johan has a breakdown scene. His breakdown scene is him telling and lying to Ryu so he could leave him, right? And initiating this big fight between them, right? And then him closing the door and just losing it. Like, Johan had that scene, had a breakdown scene. But I expected Ryu to have, when he found out, either place, right? Either when he found out Johan was ill from Sumiko, or when he found the picture book that Johan had left, right? He did cry, don't get me wrong, he did cry. He teared up. Some tears kind of rolled down his cheek. But, like, I wanted something where, like, all these years he had this pent-up, like, lingering, longing feeling for Johan, and he's pushed it all down to live a daily life of, like, monotony, right? And when he found out that he let his soulmate leave him, and it was for a reason of him being sick, he should break down. He should have a lot of regret. He should have broken down more than when he was in the confessional, to be honest. And so when that first confessional scene was stronger than the scene of him finding out that his soulmate is going to die, it should really be stronger than that.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, like, by this time I hadn't continued to watch it yet, but I do understand that idea. Like, you can't peak their emotional distraughtness so early.
Yeah.
Like, that can be a catalyst for another thing. But if we're going to build to this point of regret and longing, like, their interaction together has to mean more than the beginning of our story, right?
Yeah.
And that's like from a pure structure thing, right? Like Act 2 has to matter more than Act 1, and Act 1 has to matter more than backstory, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As a writer, it has to. Because if the backstory matters the most, you should be telling that story. So going through here, the things that are happening in Act 2, the getting to know, the building of this relationship, the meeting the soulmate, that's the stuff that has to matter the most so that we can get to our Act 3 resolution. And again, I know I'm speaking in film terms and not in series terms, but it still works the same.
Yeah. So I was pretty disappointed because if I had gotten the breakdown scene, I think I would have been a little bit more satisfied. Whereas now, like not getting the breakdown scene, I was pretty disappointed.
Right. In the ending. Yeah.
So, yeah. Like of course, like, I liked it enough that I binged the whole thing, right? So I don't dislike this show. It's just there's so much more that they could have done that could have improved the outcome.
It feels like missed opportunities. It felt like something that really could have been an A, and it just really wasn't because of just certain missed opportunities. And like, if you're out there and you watch and go, oh, I thought it was brilliant, you're probably not wrong in your own, like, for what you took from it. Like, maybe you took something different and you did think these pieces that we're saying are missing are there.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't begrudge anyone for, like, looking at something like this and going, oh, you guys are stupid. I really like that. I thought that was, like, perfect the way it was. It was subtle where it needed to be subtle. It was dramatic where it needed to be dramatic. I think this is just a measure of a different taste that we have, that we're like, oh, like, I see what's missing. And I can't not see what's missing.
So, online.
So we're going to move on to the social media part of the program.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of argument online about, them marketing this show as a BL and it's not a BL, or that it's more like a queer movie, or it's not a bromance, but even less than a bromance, and it's just like a friendship movie, or it's like a found family show, and just, people talking.
See, I know you're going to back this up with facts. Mm-hmm. I will just say, as the creator of Budmance, of the term Budmance, I feel like it is upon me to tell you if something is a bromance or not. This is not a bromance.
No.
There's no way on earth that this is about two homies that are close.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Also, I'm a dude, so I'm going to say, I know what bromances look like. I'm a dude. I know what budmances look like, because I'm a dude. These guys weren't bromancing. This is a romance. This is a relationship.
Yes. And so, don't get mad. If you get mad, sure, whatever.
If you get mad, at least comment so we get some points on the algorithm.
I think it's a little shallow to say that it's not a BL because there isn't any physical intimacy.
Well, I mean, I will go further than that, but maybe I should just hold my tongue.
The thing is, the two characters have a very strong emotional intimacy. And I feel like that shows you just how much they love each other. And, like, love, I feel like, should be the basis rather than, like, any sexual intention. There's also a lot of people in this world that, like, can feel love and have a relationship but be asexual, or, like, I forgot what the term was, but when we watched Warp Effect, there was a character that liked certain intimacy of, like, physical contact but didn't like any kind of penetration. And that is a certain...
Takes all kinds, and people like what they like.
Yeah, and so...
people experience emotions in different ways, and people experience physical intimacy in different ways.
Yeah, so I feel like, generalizing people and, like, dismissing something because it doesn't fit in your narrative, or
your label, or your definition. Like, what's your definition of a BL? There has to be 4 sex scenes, like... Every 3 episodes, they have to kiss. Every 2 episodes, they have to have sex. Like,
yeah, that's just you. Like, you've just labeled it. You're creating this narrative and this prerogative that, like, others have to meet your expectations, right?
I'm sorry, this is so clearly a BL story to me. Like, I just don't know. Other than the sex, other than literally naked bodies laying in bed, I don't know how you could say, well, that's not really a queer story. That's not really a BL story. That's just, bromancing. Like, that to me is crazy.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, at least I've never experienced any kind of desire to stare and admire someone sleeping and then draw them.
Oh, we do that every Thursday night at the karaoke bar. Me and the boys.
It's such, like, it comes from such a, like, admiration, but also, like, an intimacy that, like, isn't really, it's subtle. It's, like, subtle. It's not, like, paraded around you of, like, I love this person, let me put on a show. It's kept within themselves, right? And if someone had watched that I wasn't interested in, or is just a friend, and watched me sleep and then drew me during the time I was sleeping, I would feel really creeped out if I wasn't also interested in that person.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. I was getting confused because I think when guys hang out and one of them gets drunk and falls asleep, you usually draw on them. Like, you draw things on their face and stuff for them to wake up to.
Yeah.
That's bromance activity.
Really?
Or
Is it bromance or just bullying?
Or just horrible hazing between idiots who have had too much beer that night? Yeah, probably that one.
Anyway, what I'm saying is, there are definitely signs of actual love and, like, and interest, right? It's just, it's not, pushed on you.
I'm sorry, like, if you have to see characters have sex to understand that they are emotionally attached, I don't think you're that bright. I'm going to say that. I don't think you're that bright. I'm sorry, like, I think that is, like, for the cheap seats. Like, I get it. I don't really like sex on television. Like, I think it's boring. I'm like, as soon as a sex scene starts, I just kind of want it to be over. Like, that's like the beginning of the sex scene is kind of the end of the story of like, oh, there they are. They're doing that. And then after that, it's like, get on with it already. So
I'm fine with sex scenes in TV as long as there's an emotional connection behind it, right? And not even like, I'm totally fine with like how one night stands and then they develop a relationship after the one night stand. That's one thing, but like, it comes with the package, but it's not.
Say that again, Beavis.
Shut up. Anyway, what I'm saying is like, it comes together. It's all one thing, right? It's not like, sex doesn't define the relationship.
That's what I would agree with.
Yeah. Anyway.
Or sex doesn't move the needle. Like, as if two people who are into each other, it doesn't count as romance until the sex happens, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're in a relationship with someone and you're, like, super lovey-dovey everywhere, and right before you have sex, one of them gets hit by a car, it's not that you didn't have a relationship. You know, like, you don't need that to validate it and be like, oh, well, now it's a relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
They've had sex. Like, that's silly. That's a silly notion. And I think that's like saying a cake is only a cake if it has frosting on it. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just, no, it has to have all the accoutrements so that I know it's a cake. Well, if you're not looking closely, this isn't that kind of show. Like, this is a more subtle interpretation of a relationship and of a romance, and it's called freaking soulmates.
Yeah, well,
soulmate. With singular.
Yes. So, if you need verbal validation, they deliberately, at the end, say, I love you to each other.
Which is also not something usually you say to the bros.
Yeah. I mean, it's different because...
Well, it's love you, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's very different.
And also, it's different when it's in English, you know, and like...
What are you trying to say? Can't love each other in English?
No, in English, I feel like, I don't know about you, but like, I feel like at least in American culture or Western culture, you say I love you a lot more than like I'm...
I've never thought about it that much before you just said that, so I can't, it's hard for me to comment.
Because like I mean, you know, coming from a, you know, Hong Kong family, Chinese family, like no one's ever said I love you to me, like, just in passing, like, just when you hang up the phone, or just, like,
right.
You know, like, when you say bye to each other, like, you just say, oh, love you, like, that's not a thing, right? Like, you specifically, intentionally say I love you when you love the person, and that doesn't happen very often. So, I feel like in American culture, Western culture, like with families, friends, you know, you say love you to each other a lot, like, it's like looser, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. And also there's emphasis here because they say it in each other's languages, don't they?
Yeah, so Ryu says 사랑해 to Johan, right? And the thing is, I also feel like in Korean culture, they say it a lot more too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as like, you know, when you want to be cute or you want something, you're like, 사랑해, like, right? Like, you're whatever. But for this instance, when Johan says, 아이시테루, like, first of all, in Japanese culture, you don't usually use that until it's so strong and, like, it's just so impactful to say 아이시테루. Like, normally you'd say, oh, skida, skides, you know, stuff like that, right? Or daisuki, which is like, whoa. Your daisuki is like, whoa, you're already super in love, right? But when you say aishiteru, like, it is so deep in the soul, you know, and you don't normally say that unless it's so effective, right? And so he says that really strong I love you to Ryu is just like,
yeah.
And that's how the movie ends, right? And they're like, they literally say, as long as we're together, it doesn't matter where we go,
right,
where we are. And so if you needed verbal validation, if they are in love, there you go. They ended it with it, right?
Yeah. I don't think the argument that it's not a queer story or not a BL, I don't think that argument really holds any water on anywhere but the internet. And the internet is a place where you can just say things and then you never have to defend yourself. And people can, like, argue out of it, and then you can just say the same thing again and never learn anything. So, like, in the real world, where we actually live, I don't think this has an argument. I really don't.
Yeah. Also, in the real world, you don't go around watching people fuck and make out all the time.
Wait, what?
What, do you?
That's Wednesday night with the boys.
I'm just saying, like, you know, yes, we're watching a TV show, but when we think about a couple, you know, it's not us to label if a couple is a couple, because we don't see them fucking.
No, we don't go home with a couple to make sure that they're consummating what we perceive as a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, we just assume they're together, they're out in public being together, they're saying the things that all couples say to each other. Ah, they must be a relationship. We, like, take their word for it and their actions for what they are, rather than trying to find some label to put on it. Oh, well, they only have sex missionaries, so they're this kind of couple. Like, that would be silly for us to do.
Yes. And just, like, you know, Arata confessing his love and then, like, horribly being outed by his teammates, and then them, like, and then Ryu having to, like, figure out, like, how he's gonna approach the being confessed to and all these feelings. That alone is, like, a very classic queer story. So, and
it's also told from that point of view, not from the other point of view, if that makes sense. Like, it's not told from the
teammates?
Yeah, like, being gay is weird. Like, you know, like, that's not the point of view it's told from. It's told from this point of view of, oh man, the world's coming crashing down now. That my friend came out and then told his feelings to me, and then that got overheard. Like, we can't put that genie back in the bottle. Like, all of those thematics, like, they're with our main characters. They're our point of view into this world.
Yeah.
So, to me, I was shocked to find that out. When you were like, oh yeah, there's a debate online of whether or not this is I'm like, what's the debate?
Yeah.
Like, that's like debating the sky's blue or not. Like, that's, you know, like well, the Earth is flat, I guess, too. So, you never know. It's the internet. It's not the real place. It's not the real world.
Yeah. Anyway, so these are things to unpack. And again, like, at the end, it made me feel, I'm glad that Johan gets to spend the last days of his life or months or however long he would, because you don't see that, which I'm glad he doesn't actually like die in the show. But this is where I got really like depressed, because it's like, wow, like you guys spent 10 years of not doing what you guys really wanted to do, and now you're waiting to the point where, like, honestly, I don't even know how much Johan can enjoy their time, because yes, they set off and they're exploring the I don't know, just Germany, because they're in a car. So I don't know.
You could drive all over Europe.
Yeah, okay. So wherever they're driving to, and they're experiencing that part of the world together, I'm just like, God, that was like 10 years you could have had together like that. And now it's like limited to, however long.
But maybe that's what the filmmaker wanted. Maybe that's the filmmaker wanted to leave you with that sense of yes, they're finally together, yes, they're soulmate, and maybe what we're supposed to take from this movie is don't make those mistakes yourself. Like, take advantage of the moments you do have, because they don't last forever. And so, look at, maybe we're the idiots, and it's a brilliant piece of filmmaking in that sense. Like, just, maybe you were supposed to leave it feeling depressed and down and really feeling, bad for these two characters that they didn't get more together.
Yeah.
So, that's why I don't know, part of this is so fun to me. It's so subjective. Like, you could watch a film like this, and the fact that it's not bad filmmaking, it's not corny and over the top, it's not stupid. Like, obviously there were some things we pointed out, but like, this could be someone's favorite movie, and that's okay.
Yeah,
show. Sorry, I keep calling it a movie because in my mind it's a movie. Like,
me too. I keep wanting to say movie, but yeah, it's a show. But ultimately, my rating is onboard karaoke. Because, there were things that I really wanted from the show that it didn't give me. But it wasn't bad, but it wasn't my favorite either.
I don't know. I can't really rate it because I didn't see the ending. I will say the first half of it, I would rate it. Onboard karaoke in the buffet line. Like, I kind of enjoyed it. I liked the relationship. I thought the acting was really good.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the things, hearing you talk about it, I agree with your sentiment. So it's hard I can't really give it like a full-on rating. But if it's on Netflix, go watch it and see what you think of it, and then come back and comment and tell us how brilliant or stupid we are.
Yeah. Anyway, that is it for us this week. Thanks for listening.
I love you.
Thanks.